just gotta put our speaker. Are we on? We're on. What's up? What's up? We're the FREESTYLE on HamiltonRadio.net. I'm Ralphie Rotten, also known as DJ Noise. My right hand man, Billy the Kid. What is up? We're on Hamilton Radio, and it is Wednesday night. How was your weekend, brother? You guys, what I like about y'all is you guys keep moving. You guys keep, no matter what is going on, you guys are still like seeing each other, you know, having get-togethers, you know, and that's, and there's no like interruptions like in there.
Some shows on Netflix or something and talk about that, you know, world issues, all of that, man, and you know, just, you know, sit back and enjoy yourself. So that's everything for me. That's, you know, like my mom is the real captain of the ship, you know.
You're just a passenger. You're just a passenger.
I feel like without a lot of my mom say so in there, some of us probably would have drifted apart, because it's like even in moments like where we not really kind of clicking with each other, we're still gonna congregate over there.
Shout out to your mom. When I got back on, she was like, "Welcome back." You know, like it was, even though you wasn't here,
yeah,
she still showed the love. You know,
I saw her in the comments,
and I appreciate that. You know,
yeah, man, your mom been mom for everybody.
She's been like, she's literally been supportive of us since day one. You know, she's been one of our viewers since day one, you know.
Absolutely.
So shout out to your mom.
She feel bad when she misses a show,
right?
You know, so yeah.
And we're like, and you know, you can always just catch us.
Yeah,
just alive.
Basically. Yeah, no, she'd catch the rerun. Like,
yeah,
you know, yeah. She won't tell me that she watched it.
And sometimes, you know, I often find myself going back and I'm like, ooh, that was so like that was so deep that I gotta go back and see that again. You know,
Yeah, man. So that was it. That was the weekend, man. Just chilling.
My weekend, it was chill. You know, snuck over to the shore. You know, walked the boardwalk for a little. It wasn't much. You know, and listen, it was 4th of July, so you know, my kids got to see fireworks. You know, went to my in-laws' house. They have, you know, they got the pool going, so it's more of a family atmosphere.
Yeah, lovely. That was lovely.
You know. It's a family atmosphere, you know. We take a couple sips of bourbon, like, you know, little sips. You know, we don't abuse it. You know, like it's, you know, we eat some, you know, grilled food. You know, just so relaxed and so chill. You know, the kids are all running around, getting along. You know, it's like,
yeah, awesome.
You know, I played
fireworks.
I played cornhole. You know, cornhole with the beanbags.
Yeah.
It was an Eagle set, so you know, I felt a little, you know, confident. And my team went. My team went on. You know, my team went. I think we lost maybe one game, and we won every single game after that. We were like just murdering like the teams.
Yeah, take that loss personally.
Yeah, and but overall it was fun. It was a good overall weekend. You know, it was chill. And you know, you come back during the weekend, you're like, you can't say, oh, that was too short. Because I mean, some of us are not even doing anything. You know, some of us are getting up, taking care of the kids, while the others going to work, or that's still job, that's still work. You still, I'm still, even though I'm home most of the time, I'm running around trying to clean after children. I have a child. I have almost a 2-year-old.
Still take a lot out you.
Oh yeah, let me tell you. Earlier I just wanted to lay down before I laid down for about a half hour. Just to lay down, and I'm like, oh, if I fall asleep, I'm gonna get up late, and because I've done that before. So I'm like, I often come in here and I'm like, oh, tired. So the weekend was, it was chill. It was chill.
Nice.
So glad we can see, a 4th of July, that was calm, and for the most part, everybody enjoyed themselves. It was, it wasn't that bad. The news is crazy right now. The news is crazy. Should I just jump into that to get it out of the way?
Hey, man.
Well,
out of the way, man.
So most of the viewers know that today, something I've been really, really outspoken on this platform for years. Billy is probably one of my witnesses to know I have been really outspoken about this guy, like, for at least 5 years. On this platform, 5 years. 10 years probably prior. And it's not to erase or remove, destroy, it's to just properly revise the details left out. Properly tell the story. If you're gonna tell a story, tell it the way it is, without the missing pieces. You can't have a story without all the details. So we've been living under a false narrative that we have been told one story, when yes, the story is accurate, but it has some inaccuracies, meaning it misses a couple points, major points. A lot, basically the atrocities, and we're not gonna just, we're not gonna ignore that. Some people feel that it's, it's.
Go in, give us.
It's
everything.
not. It's people. Some people don't think it's a symbol.
Don't dumb it down either. Give us.
And
everything.
I'm trying to bring it in. Just
No. Hey, listen,
bring
man,
it in.
Don't spare nobody's feelings. Don't none of that. Just.
My opinion is, it does not serve the community for a better purpose when you have a diverse community to begin with at the moment. And just like 60 years ago, they erected a statue in the Italian neighborhood. Before that, it was Irish. Before that, I think they were Germans that worked for the Roebling factory that lived around there. So the neighborhood's constantly changing. Right now it's it's a very diverse minority. If you look around, some media or some people say, look around you. You see everybody around this area? It's a diverse person.
Now.
And so it's the guy. Unfortunately, yes, to some he's a hero. To many, and to some he was an oppressor.
He made it to these parts, though. All right, we can say that he made it to these parts.
The historical,
why, and what happened?
The historical significance behind him is historic, but we cannot deny and ignore the fact, while he was doing these significant journeys, he mutilated, brutally committed genocide on a civilization. We can't ignore that happened. We're talking about 3 to 4, maybe 5 million indigenous people almost completely wiped off of their existence. In letters, he would write letters, and at one, he boasted about, he would rape a woman continuously, and and she was, every time she was defiant until he broke her. He was proud of this. He enslaved kids as young as 9 years old, both boy and girl. He was not shameful. He didn't care. all he seen was he wanted gold, and when the Taino didn't produce the gold, he said, all right, well, I don't see gold. Well, guess what? You're gonna make me rich anyway because I'm gonna use you as the slaves. When he named it Hispaniola, he was calling it his Spain. So he was on his way to be, the conqueror of that his own Spain. If he was allowed to, for many years without being, tried or taken back in chains, he could just said, you know what, Spain, see ya, I'm gonna do my own thing. That could be Hispaniola today, and slavery could still be.
I think it's way deeper than Columbus could ever go.
Of course.
I'm talking.
Of course.
What do you think?
One of his main points?
The ulterior motive or the hidden agenda to him making it here and everything that opened the door to come here after that?
He helped start the transatlantic slave trade, trading, indigenous people and Africans for various exploits. And this is facts.
I mean, he laid the blueprint, but the first ship that made it over there was the good ship Jesus from John Hardy Hawkins.
He inspired the movement, which laid foundation to what happened in America, and which led to the Civil War, which led to Lincoln freeing the slaves, and what we are now, what the 60s, the Civil Rights Movement, and then fast forward, today.
So
a second.
All right. So real quick. So you said that they came over here looking for gold.
Yes.
All right. Which
they were looking for spice, gold.
All right, because you got to be careful because, like, we in between the line where it's what we learned as kids and what we have to teach our kids to what we're debating with an adult.
Absolutely.
Now, adult to adult, you said that he came here because he was looking for gold and stuff. Some of the clues and stuff that you'll pick up in school was that they were trying to escape, like persecution, basically.
Well, they never, in the textbooks that I remember, and we're going back 20-something years ago. The textbooks that I remember never depicted the Indians as anything more. All I remember is Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. He landed in America, and he engaged with the natives, and they lived happily ever after.
The Indians came here from the Pacific. That's when the continents were much more closer. They came here 16,000 years ago for worshiping idols.
So that's what the history I've gotten.
All right.
As a kid.
Now,
growing up, I lived around the park. I played baseball in the other field. I never played Little League for Trenton Little League. I was not that well off, but I played baseball in the sand lot, the other baseball field. That wasn't used as much. I lived in that park for a long time, in that area, Butler Street, Hamilton Ave, Hanford Place, Tyler Street. So for many years, I remember that statue growing up, many Columbus Day parades, and then as I was becoming a late teenager, getting into an early adult, I was becoming curious on where I came from.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you though, you got to do some research. Like, you got to look at a whole bunch of different things, including him for a lot of things that's implemented and established to where we are today.
Well, that's exactly. It's great that you say that, because I was, one time, I asked a question, to somebody or something. And, I know where I can stretch my whole family all the way back to this. And I said, well, I want to do that one of these days. So I started researching my last name, trying to research. I've always been trying to research. I've come in here and told you, I've discovered this about me, And so I discovered that my name evolved from Columbus. That was the spark. So, his name was many names. It was Cristobal Colombo, um, Cristo Colon. You know, so you can see the similarities. Columbus was the name. You know, Cologne was the evolved. You know, the shortened version. You know, different spelling. You know, to fit what it is today. So I decided, you know what? Let me research. Let me research. And I started researching it over years. Reading, getting, in depth of what happened, what's the narrative, what's the whole story. You built a picture, a mental picture. You built a synopsis, little movie in your mind of what happens with all the accounts, detail after detail. And let me tell you, that movie is not a great movie. That picture is not a great picture.
Do you feel like Columbus was used to come over here for something bigger than him?
I don't think so. I don't know. I like I said, I don't know. But the fact is that he came here and enslaved people.
Listen, this is why you do know, or why you should know.
Well, I mean, he came here for riches. Let me rephrase that. He came here on the pretext that he was going to be a rich man. He was coming for money. He was looking for gold, and he was looking for more spices.
Now, tie this in right quick. What's the main language that we speak over here in America?
English.
Yeah, and next would be pretty much Spanish.
Spanish.
All right, but let's stick to English, because everybody wants you to pretty much speak English here. I feel like personally he was used by Europe to come here.
It's possible.
To navigate his way through. The deeper significance now, in Europe, a lot of Europeans fled here because they were escaping pretty much persecution and everything. Now, if you look at the deeper meaning and significance of why like a lot of the Europeans made it over here, it gets borderline religious / political. Like a lot of people believe that a lot of the Europeans and stuff made their way here from a lot of research and stuff that they did, because a lot of them believed that they were following the actual body of Mary, Mary,
Columbus
who followed Jesus, and that the Holy Grail was over here.
Columbus, I'll add another detail. Columbus thought he was God sent to find the Indias, the new India, the West Indies. He thought he was God sent to prove that the world was smaller, that the world was not flat.
So
he himself, not Europe, but him himself, he felt he was God sent. And realistically, if you read some of the history, he looked at himself as a different man on a different level. Therefore, he felt entitled to enslave a whole entire civilization.
And those two things let us know that it's a fairy tale, it's a lullaby. They say that he came over here and discovered, of course, people that was already here. That's part of the lullaby. And then under the fact that because he thought that the earth was flat, that's another lullaby right there. But ask a lot of these Europeans, ask a lot of your religious scholars, okay? When it comes down to I don't know, like if you're familiar with like Solomon's Temple and when we get to those religious characters.
Well, we know. I do know about that stuff.
Yeah. Now, mind you,
I don't want to get. I'm not going to get into that because
I do want to get into that because that's tied in to Columbus.
But that is a whole different.
Oh,
topic.
But listen, you have to believe that that's connected, because other than that,
slightly.
Why would those people who came just slightly a little bit after him come over here with that notion to look for those in particular treasures?
Well, you're speaking about the Knights Templar.
You're
talking about the Knights Templar?
All right, now if you want to go back, deeper than that, but
St. Clair.
What we're talking about? Knights Templar. They got started.
St. Clair, right? St. Clair
founded.
St. Clair came and founded Newfoundland
by nine noble tribesmen.
By a man named St. Clair,
who left the Isle of Malta and started the Southern Rights of Malta. I can go way back. I can go way back on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen,
Now
listen,
that gave
it takes a hell of a lot of knowledge to know stuff like
that.
that.
At the time, the Knights Templar left Jerusalem to go to the Isle of Malta. They started the Southern Rights of Malta. From the Southern Rights of Malta, that gave birth to the Scottish Rites, which is like one of the oldest Masonic sets. But you tie all of that in. You tie all of that in to like the European Masons, Solomon's Temple, all of that. They came here. And it's inside their history. This is in their books and their history. They came over here for the belief that Mary got transported here. That I keep forgetting the name of it. The little gold chalice that was supposed to hold Jesus' blood. Yeah, the Holy Grail. Why do I keep forgetting that?
The Holy Grail.
That the Holy Grail was also buried over here. And again, why would you just wait? Like, why wouldn't it be inside Egypt? Why wouldn't it be inside? Why wouldn't it be inside
China? It is said that
China?
the Knights Templar treasure was buried out here as well.
So
he knew that there was gold out here.
He
just didn't know where.
A lot of your secrets and stuff are buried into like
society.
You look at like the 13 original colonies, and then like you look at the East Coast and like the way Washington D.C. is all set up, like that. It was the purpose. That was the mission. Okay. For all of now, this is why they don't want to mix religion with science and politics. Okay, because you look at the way Washington and all of that is set up. Washington isn't set up like that.
Shout out to all the viewers.
On purpose. Now we're like the only continent with United States. 51 United States. This is why that's tied into the day. These United States came up with a Declaration of Independence. They got a Constitution. They got all type of amendments, everything. It ties into us because the resentment, like Christopher Columbus was the root of the resentment that the average black people have now. So when people be like, that was so long ago, get over it, all this other stuff, he was just the catalyst. He was the root to come over here and start raping and killing brown people and all of this stuff. Now that gave way for Europeans and everything and the French and all of that, because everybody's guilty here, to come in here and like integrate and somehow, you know, whether they knowingly did it or unknowingly did it, establish these United States. Now, okay, we got a civil war because like you got people from the South that wanted to keep it one way. You got people of the North that's like, no, you guys are messing up our blueprint. Meanwhile, people of color are pretty much stuck in the middle. We're affected today because these same 51 United States with their laws and everything just somehow still don't cater to darker skin. So of course, we're going to hold resentment just like the Native Americans and Indians. Like, you know, they're hurt when Columbus Day comes and it's, you know, and like they have to celebrate it. Like they're forced to celebrate it. Like I see, you know, Indian people like that have Thanksgiving and all of that stuff too. And I just kind of tilt my head like, man, like I can't celebrate like a hanging day. I can't celebrate like a lynching day. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, you know, this is something that they have to live with. What they personally have to deal with, feel and think, I'll never really know. But at the same token, you know, like they're not going to be able to completely know our plights, you know, of my skin tone, you know, what my ancestors had to deal with as well. Everybody could pretty much say, well, Irish were slaves, Europeans were slaves, these people were slaves, but none were slaves on American soil. You know, it goes against everything what this country was supposed to be established for, you know, like we got a constitution that says that, you know, that pretty much all men are created equal, but you scroll down and, you know, it's still to this very day, because you can't change the constitution, that black people are still labeled as what? 3/5 a human being.
And have been labeled as property by the Supreme Court in the Dred Scott case.
Now, it's to the point where if you ever notice this, if you ever notice every march and everything that we ever did, we never march for equal rights. But the LGBT, and I'm not taking away nothing from anybody, step on no toes or nothing, the LGBT, they fight for equal rights. Since pretty much the beginning of our, you know, the rebellious times, you know, all we wanted were civil rights. Bruh, listen, it was already told that I couldn't be equal, but just give me civil. Don't just kick me and feed me and treat me like a dog here. Don't just shoot me dead in the street. Don't just put your knee on the back of my neck. You know, I'm a human.
Don't choke me.
You know, I'm a human. And we're not far-fetched to want to fight these things, to fight for these things, because it's still in the Constitution to this day.
Yeah, it's in.
And it's
You
like,
know,
well, look,
it's embedded
we
in
go
the Pledge of
civil.
Allegiance. It's embedded.
At least give us civil
the
rights.
Star Spangled Banner. You know, because
Mr. Ice Cream, Softy Sauce.
Francis Scott Key. You know, remember I spoke about that last week. Was it last week or the week before? Francis Scott Key. You know, he was a slave master, and he wrote that song. You know, not to uplift, you know, the whole entire country. He was only uplifting his country. You know what I'm saying? And if you read between those lines, you understand what I'm talking about.
Now, it's people that celebrate, you know, Columbus, and they think he's a brave man for what he did and all of his accomplishments.
And I respect that.
And then you got a majority of people that's like, it benefited, you know, a certain, you know, amount of people, but it didn't coincide with my skin tone, or you know, it didn't care about what my agenda would be. And it's like from that moment on, a lot of people could say that like it's just never been. Plenty of people benefited and profited from it, you know, but at the same time, it's like off the backs, blood, sweat, and tears of who, you know. None of us really have the right, besides the Native Americans, to say go back to your own country.
Well, that's crazy you just said that, because I wanted to say a comment about that. More often, you know, I'm on social media and people see that I'm in various groups here, various groups there, and you know, some people, or you know, let's say the public realm of social media, sometimes they'll say, hey, if you don't like it, you want to take the statue down, go back, leave the country, get out of here. If this country
it's a lot of
since we're on stolen property.
It's a lot of
well,
that's not facts talking. That's just entitlement talking.
But let me just prove something. That if my ancestors were here first, that means you guys, the ones that are saying leave, you can leave, basically. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody said that, you know, I said, so that means my ancestors were here first, so that means y'all can leave. Anybody that thinks that could leave, get ready to leave now, right?
Now, what's the rebuttal for that? It's like, okay, you told me to go back where I come from.
Mind you, why don't you?
Mind you, if I can prove that I was already from here and I throw that back to you, what's your response?
There's none.
Because there
shouldn't be.
There's an entitlement and a power trip, you know, to where, all right, listen, point blank, we all here now. We all here.
Or the magic word when they say, what's my heritage? Well, damn, what happened to my heritage? I mean, everybody's talking about everybody else's heritage, but not my ancestors. My ancestors were the ones, 3 to 6 million, you know, Taino Indians, Arawak Indians. Mm-hmm. They're brutalized, murdered, killed. They jumped into shark-infested waters.
And
to get away.
Listen, I could say that all day long. You know, like, what about my heritage?
Exactly.
You know, like, listen,
we
were at actual newspapers. You know, blacks for sale today on Sunday. We got a father and we got a mother, and we'll throw in the kids half off. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's some hurtful, shameful stuff right there. You know, and systematically, it ties into the day for all of the people that's saying that was so long ago, and like whatever the case may be, like it's certain signs and symbols that you got to pay attention to, like big prisons like that are actually built on slave plantations. You know what I mean? Especially when you got over 50% of the black population that's in there, a majority of them that shouldn't even be in there in the first daggone place.
Hear this out.
History repeating itself.
Bill Cosby, over the years, supposedly did whatever he did. People came forward. It became a big movement. He was found guilty. He was sent to jail. Same thing with Weinstein. This was years and years and years. You know, there's no statutes of limitations on that. You know, same thing with Epstein, right? For the last 30, 40 years, he's been doing these, whatever, how long before he offed himself. Supposedly.
Yeah, so they say.
Now that his friend is in custody, and you know, whatever, she's ready to drop names. But to say all this, you know, the statute of limitations, they never ran out. So yeah, we can't try him because he's dead, but we can revise the history, like I said, to add the details that is missing. We're not I'm not trying to erase the existence of Columbus, because the history books is already history books. You can't erase the history in America. Okay, you can't. It's too many people know about the history of America for history to be erased.
Yeah.
Now, if we continue to have these Confederate statues, and Columbus statues that idolize, the opposition and the oppression, then change is not here. In order for us to see real change is to start to see stuff like that change. You don't have to erase the history and the memories. You can commemorate them somewhere else.
Yeah, because there's definitely going to be conflicting stories of
Absolutely.
what it stands for.
But I feel that the Columbus statue should be placed in a museum, where it could be a plaque could be added, where here is Christopher Columbus, the statue, the history of why it's there, how it got there, who added it there, and why it was removed, and the details of some minor details of what happened.
What get me angry about it the most, like whether you keep that statue there or not, what is it about? Not just that statue, but what is it about Columbus and like the overall story for somebody speaking out against it to make the other person say, well, go back where you came from? That grinds me. I'm sick of well, why don't you just go back to where your language comes? I ain't never really say I hated a person out publicly, openly before in my life, but I hate y'all. I hate everybody that say that. I hate every last one of y'all that say,
listen,
go back to where you came from.
It is.
I hate that. I hate that mentality.
It is real, man. The hate is real,
and
because
something like that brings that out of people. Just because you're speaking out against it. Just because you're speaking out against it. And mind you, like what you're saying, okay, that's backed up with all validation, with facts and all of that. Like somebody said earlier, like when they were speaking out about the Columbus statue, I heard the guy say, that's because that's the stuff that you read. That's you only read the bad stuff. Okay, but the stuff that you believe in, that you felt like he was good for, you read that too.
Mm-hmm.
You read that too. It's in the same story that you read, bro.
And
you just chose to see.
And by this point in the last month that I had been outspoken, I think that I have educated a hell of a lot of people. And I mean, I'm not just talking about any races in particular. I'm talking about on a broad span, because I've been the only one that have been presenting the facts to the community, at large, on social media, on my page. When it becomes a Columbus discussion, and somebody says, well, why you want to do this, or that's my heritage, and then I gotta go in with the history facts, and then I gotta give you a paragraph at this moment. Like I have to first of all, shout out to everybody. I gotta thank everybody who reached out to me during this last month. Reached out to me when I was protesting, reach out to me, protesting at the statue, reach out to me during this whole process, reach out for me, to thank me, to say, Ralph, I'm proud of you. You're creating change, right before your eyes. I appreciate, all those that gave, amazing, comments, shout out to Stan. He was, your passion, talking about my passion is evident, at least just keep going forward. My friend Scott, he goes, the country heard you, bro. The country. He said the country heard you. You know what I'm saying? That's scary, because when you say the country, that means a lot of people have listened to me. And I appreciate that, I at the end of the day, I just want my voice to be heard, because it's for something I stand and I believe in. It's not because I want to trash somebody's history. And I still have the petition up to properly readdress it in a museum, to raise the funds properly to readdress it and put it in a museum. After all that, I still want to do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Because that is what I originally set my mission to be. So yes, my mission is not over. I want to see the park be renamed, the statue readdressed, where it could be cherished, respected, and appreciated. So we don't appreciate it in that park. But it doesn't mean that it can't be appreciated in a museum. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be destroyed. It was given, it was given to the city by the immigrants, the Italian immigrants in Chambersburg during that time. So, like I said, it should be still respected. It's a statue. Who it represents, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? My thing is, it should not stand in a place where it doesn't
Another
belong.
statue that I don't want to stand is the Emancipation Proclamation statue, where it actually has Abraham Lincoln with a slave actually kneeling to him with the shackles and stuff, still on him. Like, how's that not down, already?
Where's this at?
That's in Washington.
Oh, I mean, they should change that picture then.
Yeah,
They should
and
change.
they got guards. They got guards around that one, surrounding that one, because like what's happening is, like, society are like the kids now. Like, you look at our kids, like when they in school, everything is technology, laptops, all of that stuff. So when they
but
talk
it's
about
crazy you say
Columbus
that.
in school, the kids automatically, even at their young ages, they're like, "But wait, it was already ended. It's over." You're like,
It's crazy. It's crazy you say that, because when we were protesting a week ago, these young kids came up and said, "Why y'all here?" And it was, "Oh, we're protesting Columbus to remove him." "Oh, that's Columbus?" "Yeah." "Do you know the history?" "Yeah, he was a rapist and a murderer." So these kids could have been like 7 or 8 years old and they knew that.
yeah.
So that means knowledge is definitely power. It's,
I mean,
it's resonating to.
No, technology is
you know.
at their fingertips, and over the years.
And listen, and people-
that's people talk like
And when people like me create the dialogue, constantly have it up in the constant conversation, people are gonna over talk about it, and the youth are gonna hear, "Well, Columbus was not a great guy."
So when I learned about Columbus in school, I learned through a song. It was this song that we sang.
1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
1492. Yeah, whatever. So that's how I learned.
Shout out to Andre.
And-
Much respect to you, brother.
Yo, shout out to all of y'all tuned in. Man.
Yes, definitely all the.
But honestly, I just feel like Columbus was used. He was used as a
Shout to
political and religious pawn, bro.
Eddie. I seen Eddie today.
I got too many facts.
Eddie was at there today.
Man, look,
Yeah.
Eddie gonna make it do what it do, brother. Eddie is gonna make it. Hey, Eddie, man, listen. I love
Shout out to
to
Chili
hear that
Chaz.
dude talk, man. He's just one of the most positive brothers.
Jazzy.
Man. Okay, Jassie's another one. She's a movement. Like, she's a movement on her own. Eddie,
that's my partner, man.
Right
She mean business. These.
She ain't come to play no. Jossie ain't come to play no games with you.
But I respect. That's what I respect about these individuals.
Jossie did not come to play no games with him, man. Yo, she's a one-woman army.
She don't play.
And I've never got to speak out. I never got to speak publicly out about this girl, man. And
well, she might be watching now. She's a friend of mine.
She's in the mix.
One of my good friends.
She is in the mix. She getting busy. Bro, she stood up to some dude. Matter of fact,
Today.
yo, man, it was a dude that
Today.
told her to her face, "Why don't you go back where you came from, man?"
Today, and she stood
And man, when I tell you, man, that girl stood firm and stood her ground. She don't care how big you are. She don't care how tough you are, man. And listen, man, I don't even think I ever said it to her personally, man. But shout out to her, man. She's in the mix. She's busy. She is definitely busy, and I very instrumental. Very instrumental, man. She's going places. Like, she's doing things, man. She's still young too, So listen, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep inspiring. Everything that come out.
Shout
of
out
her
to
mouth,
Nyambi too.
Everything that come out of her mouth.
Nyambi
is
too.
also positive, man.
She's a community activist.
And to be in between her and Eddie a couple weeks back, just to hear him talk and to hear it, man, I just felt like a kid all over again, man, because it's like two of the most positive people. I don't know if they ever worked together, man, but if they didn't, man, they definitely should. 'Cause I could hear them two just talk all day. I could literally listen to Eddie just talk all day. Man, I was just like, bruh, it's like one of the you just so positive. I don't even want to question that. Like how are you this positive? But I'm not even gonna question that. Keep doing it. I needed that. I don't know whether he, was tuned in, but I needed his talk that day, man. He was just making it do what it do, but he had to try hard for, none of that. So shout out to people like them in the community.
Shout out to the community leaders. Shout out to Councilman Harrison today. I met him today, and he's a community leader. He's an ally. He was out there, one of the few councilmen's out there. He was out there. You know what I'm saying? And he was talking to the people. He was just here. I'm here with y'all. I fight with y'all. I'm here because I believe we all should be together. Unity and all that. Much respect to him.
Thanks, Andre, man. Andre said, we positive. We leave a positive impact too. Appreciate it.
Listen. We honestly try. I mean,
the way I look at them, man. Listen, you mess around and get them two up here on the show and make it do what it do. Right?
Well, I mean, I definitely want to. I am definitely.
What you smiling at, bro?
I'm definitely in talks right now. Been trying to get.
I can't curse on the air.
I've been definitely trying to get some guests in here soon, relative to what we're actually talking about. What some of the protesters, just to get some commentating from them, just to get their voice. One individual already, a friend of mine, he says that he's down. So it's just matter of making it happen. I know I had more guests before we went to COVID, but those were food companies, so it's kind of we gotta ease them in. I mean, it's hard because Murphy obviously gave us a ban. We gotta all wear masks indoors and outdoors. So it's
Philly, Philly too. I saw that.
Which I really don't. Listen, I don't agree with a mandatory mask in and out of the house. I mean, that means if you don't have a mask on outside, you can get a ticket. Yeah. I mean, this is real. I mean, when is this? I mean, when is this going to be? Is it when? What I'm asking, when is the people? When are we going to be okay? Are we going to be okay with this?
I don't know, man. Because I don't know. You got to be smart though, man. Because look at Florida and all of them. They spiked.
Yeah, look at.
While we was locking stuff down and in the house, they was on the beach.
Yeah, but look at the country. It's all red. The numbers are spiking up. Florida recorded 10,000 new cases in one day. I think it was Texas or Florida.
But did you not see them out on the beach for spring break? Like while we in the house quarantine and homeschooling and all this other stuff, it looked like a whole nother world down there in Florida. And like sadly, this the result. But my thing is I'm looking for this contradiction, right? Because how is it that like we don't have enough ventilators here? But Agent Orange, Trump said that we got so many ventilators that he was giving some to Italy and France and like all of them. But I'm like, well, damn, that make it sound like we got a lot of ventilators, but why are the hospitals running out? But from what I saw, man, like New Jersey, Connecticut, and New York, out of all people, we're seeing less and less and less cases. And because we had the early start on it, and I don't know if them other states didn't take us seriously, probably laughing at us and stuff when we were locking down. But now our numbers are cool, and they're the ones spiking.
Well, that's the thing.
So you still gotta be vigilant.
But that's the thing. We are teeter-tottering, a line where when is it okay? How far can we go with wearing these masks a whole entire summer? Like, what is the end result? I want to know as, a resident in New Jersey, understanding that, all we got to do to keep ourselves quarantined is to keep the people out of New Jersey. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think coronavirus is real?
Yes, I do. I do think something exists. But I don't think that the numbers, when it first hit, were actual. Remember, they were inflating those numbers because the hospitals were getting more money because they said, they were possibly dying from cancer, the flu.
But they did spike the statistics. They said if it's not a gunshot victim or accident victim, label it coronavirus. Like for what reason? I don't know. But that sounds like a political agenda.
The hospitals or the insurance companies were getting paid more, vice versa.
But one thing I can say is that we know really nothing about this. Like, what I'm saying?
We don't know. And
none of us have you ever had coronavirus before?
No.
Me neither.
The crazy thing is we don't know anything about it, and what these politicians, doctors, whatever, this whole entire coalition, coronavirus coalition, whatever the hell they call it. It changes per day. The CDC will say, "Yo, you don't have to wear a mask," and then, the governor will say, "Oh, you have to wear a mask." Oh, the spike in, "Oh, we're doing okay." So they're constantly conflicting information back and forth. So one day you're okay, and one day we're not okay. How Florida said, "Oh, we're okay, we're gonna open Florida," and boom, they got hit with a massive, the full weight of the pandemic.
It's crazy. Like Florida is making an order that they send their kids to school in August, but they closing the restaurants and gyms to get bruh, what did you just say? Did you just say that you want to open your school?
Listen,
but you want to close your? Do
you remember? Do you remember when I said? I remember I said we're gonna. I just yawned. Oh my god, I'm exhausted. It's been a long day. Remember when I said, and I posted this, and those who are still following me, in how I was outspoken about the coronavirus, months ago, I was really, really outspoken about it. I was more outspoken than anybody. I'm on Facebook. And, when the protest was happening, when people, I'm tired of being in a house, I agreed with them. I agree we're tired to be in the house. But the thing is, as I said, this thing keeps changing per day. The information changes. You don't know what really to believe. China didn't give us all the amount of, of data that they should have. There was a satellite picture that showed something bad happened because there was a dead zone in that area, in the virology building. It was dark for a while on a satellite. No, there was
down to testing though.
Yes, but
and just like the commander-in-chief said, Mr. President, he goes, "You'll only know of the statistics because of the testing." And he goes, maybe we should stop testing.
No, but I'm going back to China. That they said it originated in a wet market. Well, that really didn't happen. There's satellite images that show between a certain amount of time. This picture, I don't know if they still exist, but aerial satellite shows over the virology building when a certain amount of time in the late fall of 2019 where this outbreak happened.
Are you talking about the one that got the symbol that looks like umbrella from Resident Evil?
I don't know, but there was a meltdown of some sort where it escaped.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up right quick.
Look at if you can look at the say satellite images show COVID.
Hey, listen, I just looked this up a couple days ago, so this is about to kind of mess your head up. So,
I know. Yeah.
That's the symbol for the laboratory, and that's the symbol from Resident Evil, from the Umbrella Corporation, which happened to be about an outbreak. You think they got a vaccination already? You got a vaccine?
Ooh.
Bro, Law got a Pornhub. You really?
I'm trying to.
We're on air. You on Pornhub?
No, I'm trying to see if you can find that satellite image. Yeah. That shows that it was there's a dead zone between a certain amount of time and a certain amount of time. Last year, that dead zone was occupied, so something had to happen in that area for them to stay away from there. Listen, we knew about this in 2019. Let's stop ignoring it. Let's admit of what it is. It's a real pandemic. It really exists. Are the numbers actual? Not all of them. But there is something out there that's killing people. We can't ignore that there's something that's really happening.
At the same time, listen, guys, we don't want to give everybody anxiety. Listen, we
exactly.
We just had this talk.
We were just saying, like he just said, you have to be vigilant. Whether it's real or not. We only can know what we're going through, and we're going with the information that they tell us.
Listen, if y'all know anybody with anxiety, just check up on them. Check up on the elderly and stuff, man, because it's a lot that's going on inside the world, and ain't none of us ever did this before. None of us have lived this life before, let alone deal with a coronavirus pandemic, let alone deal with protests all over the place.
Yeah,
man.
the crazy thing is that you're absolutely right. We've never experienced, no individual in right now has experienced this thing. The governments, the governors, any president, like in modern times. You can't say, oh, well, there was SARS, or oh, there was Ebola. That was a scare. You know what I'm saying? Those were epidemics that almost became worldwide pandemics. This I said, this was deliberately allowed to make its way into the world. It existed for 6 weeks before it was announced in 2019. China waited too long. And then we laxed on information as well. So it was existing
mentally,
probably out there without us tackling it. Was almost 12 weeks.
And emotionally, it's a lot of people that's going through it because
absolutely
this is all that's
this is not normal for all of us. We as individuals are not used to being isolated and
some of y'all off
and
y'all
cornered
sleep
off
patterns.
Cornered off from each other.
Some of y'all don't have y'all same eating patterns.
No.
We just had this talk before we went on air. And certain things like you gotta, you have to catch on to. Like I noticed, like I wasn't really sleeping right. Like I wasn't really eating right, and I had to, catch. I'm like, okay, nothing is the same. Even like my children with their sleeping pattern and stuff. Like with people being off from, I'm essential, so I've been, steady pace. But with everybody being off from work, everybody's still home. Then being homeschooled, then not to mention the fact that the kids are out. I usually have a regimen where like 11 o'clock, I will watch the news. At a certain time, I'll take my sleeping pills. After my sleeping pills, I do a little workout till the pills kick in. I haven't watched, I haven't did that regimen. And around that same time frame that all of this stuff started happening. People homeschooled, now the kids are out and shopping and doing all this.
I had this
stressful,
whole entire routine, and I had it down, and literally, and within a month, my whole entire routine changed. Within a month, and like I said, I've picked different. I've used a lot of different things to cope, to adapt to the surroundings. I started my own garden. I grill more. I research more. I read more. I spend a little bit more time with my family more. I relax more. Me and my wife go out of the house more together.
To keep you in a calmer space.
Yes.
But what you do with that calmness, check on that one friend that you probably ain't heard
Shout out
from
to Sean, my boy Sean.
Check on that family member that just lost somebody. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they just lost somebody. Call up on them. Check up on them. Like, we living in some troubled times right now, especially if they just lost somebody. But they lost a spouse, whether it was to a heart attack, whether it was to gun violence, whether it was to something. Send them a text. I might not be able to see like my pop every day, but I'll make sure I'll send a text.
Life is precious.
Something.
And it doesn't hurt to say just say hi to somebody. And it goes a long way. And at the end of the day, we're like I said, we're all good people. We all have good intentions. Some of us, get misunderstood. The song Jackson, I don't know if you got that. I just threw that in there.
Yeah.
But for real, a lot of us are, we just have good intentions, good people.
We're just trying to find our way through. None of us.
And we're just like I said, we all want to exist equally, and united. It's hard. Listen, it's hard to go back to what we used to be before this COVID, before all this civil unrest, before this economic meltdown. Right now we are in uncharted territory with our economy right now, and
we got to get out of our own way and move forward as humanity.
Yeah, we have to. We have to.
That's the main thing. Like, we have to get out of our own way, but right now, like where we at, like not only like are we tackling this pandemic, But like it also brought you, like you said, a bunch of civil unrest with George Floyd and everything. To where, listen, if we're gonna be able to coexist and all try to get along, we gotta start with the infrastructure from the inside out, and it gotta start with this, police system, this judicial system, all of that other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy you say that.
You gotta attack the infrastructure from the inside out.
You know, I was really vocal over the years. Over the years I've been vocal, but it took me watching the George Floyd video, me watching the Elijah McClain video, me, watching, videos on YouTube, seeing, just divide, just some, seeing Facebook on how they hate, it's so painful, the more hate that I see is the more the more fire you give me to drive. Like I said, literally when I've been shaking all those leaves, those racist leaves off, and I'm constantly losing friends, constantly losing friends because of it.
Yeah, because like,
they don't understand.
It start revealing, man. Like people
they
that
don't
you probably
understand
went to school with, people with family members, Like,
well, I don't know.
It's a lot to be vocal about.
I don't know about any of my family. I think.
No, not you. But I've been watching a lot of videos where like a lot of like the kids, like one of the trends was like the kids would like record themselves and then like ask their parents like probably what they think about Black Lives Matter. And there's a couple parents, that actually got caught out there, really, being bad-hearted about it, like effing black animals, and they all just and a lot of that stuff went viral. They were going viral. Then you got the 6 police officers in South Carolina that got caught on the audio. I don't know if you heard about that. So the 6 officers got caught on the audio. They do this inspection. Internal affair people do this inspection of like all the dash cam and all of that. 6 officers were heard talking, saying, one of them was telling the other one, I just bought an AR-15. He was like, I can't wait for a civil war to start. He said, we're just going to start slaughtering.
We're going to start slaughtering them.
And then when he got caught and he was like, I'm not a racist, stuff like that scares me, because this is a system that proves, like we said time and time again, it was never built for us. Like it was never designed for us. We study, shaking and knocking and telling people like, yo, like it's not fair. This is that and the third is happening, and it be falling on deaf ears. So I don't think in a million years somebody like George Floyd would have ever thought that what he been through would spark from coast to coast, just like international.
And creating
like Trayvon
and just
Trayvon
creating.
Martin. He probably didn't know that his name would be like a household name and go through all out. Eric Garner, these are things that's happening that are making the masses want to step up, man, and take charge and make a change, because we realize that this system has to get shooken up and broken from the inside out. But now it's revealing all of these other naysayers and people who oppose it, who, without all of this going on, would have just made regular life tough. Without this pandemic, without George Floyd, like without the Eric Garner, those people existed. They were still out there. And that was their job to tell you that, nope, you're not hired. It was their job to say, boop, he's guilty. It was their job to go, you're under arrest for some crumped up charges. It was their job to beat you up, murder you and everything, and cut off the body cams and stuff. All right? Everything is technology now. Cops have to wear body cam. And it's messed up because you see what they do, even with this technology. With Elijah McClain, as they beating him up, not only did they turn their bodies, but you hear other officers telling other officers, stay over there because your body cam will catch it, or turn your body cam off. How many times have we seen a cop think that he turned his body cam off, not knowing that it's a 30-second grace period before this thing comes off and you see him plant the gun down, And it, like the media don't want to put all this stuff on blast because it'll ruffle the feathers. As far as I'm concerned, you protecting all of the, the naysayers and the ones who want this stuff done. Like, as soon as something comes out and like they see some stuff like this, the first thing they ask, well, where's the rest of the video? Well, you don't know what was on the beginning. All you see, bro, it don't matter. It don't even matter. Yeah, or you get the ones who just blatantly, well, he was a drug addict, this, that, and the third. Bruh, what he did
Well,
in
he
his off time didn't kill nobody the way he
Exactly.
just got killed. But then like it's happening to people like Elijah McClain. Okay, now say what was his background? Since you got all of that, like
Elijah McClain was a good kid. He
like
was.
Listen,
He was
every
like,
scennario.
you know what I said about him. He was, he was
Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor
Yeah.
was home sleep.
She was home sleeping. She was a first responder, right? She was a.
Yep.
You know, and she did nothing but sleep.
Yep.
You know.
What about the one black officer? And this is not to try to make it a black and white thing, and it's not to try to make it a cop versus civilian thing. Point blank, it's a right or wrong thing. You understand? It's a right or wrong thing. Just because like what's going on right now inside the black community is sparking people to go Black Lives Matter. Now, if we go Black Lives Matter and you come in and you say all lives matter, but then this person come in and say Blue Lives Matter and you don't say nothing, and that's a problem because you should be saying that same thing to them. Blue Lives Matter. Wait, no, we just said all because we're talking all. You know, so you got.
Well, see, all. In order for all lives to matter, Black lives have to matter first.
Like you got a group out there that started White Lives Matter to counter Black Lives Matter. Listen, if I have to explain that to you, you lost. You don't get it. It's the same way that people still don't get why Colin Kaepernick was kneeling. That still got it in their mind that he was disrespecting the flag and our soldiers. Like, bruh, you know what the narrative is for. I'm not about to try to explain to you. You know what it was for. And I know exactly why you're saying it. It's to stop the momentum of that movement. And why do you want to stop the momentum of that movement? Well, probably because people would get civil and equal rights. You're not screaming Black Lives Matter to try to overthrow no government or take all of it as they want. They're going to start breaking in homes and all this other stuff, brother. Just give us civil. Give us civil. Other groups out there asking for equal rights. LGBT, they're asking for equal rights. Not once did you hear black people go, we really want equal rights, bro. But we've been screaming civil.
If you look at what I shared today on my page about a friend of mine, she was treated wrong in a Walgreens. So look into that, share that. So we can create some dialogue. I went out and called Walgreens myself, and I demanded an apology. And listen, like I said, stuff like that shouldn't be. I mean, everybody deserves to be treated equally.
Sadly, like for every murder, people get it more. They start getting it more. Like now, like the NFL is going back on what they said and how they treated Colin Kaepernick. And they go, okay,
but the
we
thing
get
is,
why he was kneeling.
Are they gonna give him?
I don't care.
I
don't care what they give him, bruh. You see what was happening. A lot of people starting to come out and apologize and stuff, for getting caught out there because they're getting exposed. They're getting exposed on Facebook. People are losing their jobs. I'm sorry, man, but Trump be giving the wrong undertone, man, with all of this stuff. He's like, these people are losing their job. Good.
Shout outs.
Yo, this show could have kept going a whole another hour. Where I was about to go with it. But listen, man, I'm going to hold my shout-outs, man, for a message. Shout out to everybody. My thing is this, if y'all going to remember anything that I said throughout this show, is that it's not a black or white thing. It's not a cop versus civilian thing. It's a right or wrong thing. Race just happens to be tied into a lot of that stuff. Race just happens to be deep-rooted in it. That don't mean that black, need to be hating white, all this other stuff. But there are evil people on both sides, man, who are making it hard for progress. They're making it hard to move forward, man. And y'all either got to lead, follow, or get out the way. You understand? So, again, not trying to make this a black and white thing, not trying to make this a cop versus civilian thing, man. But it's a right or wrong thing. And that goes, it's right or wrong in politics, right or wrong in the judicial system, it's right or wrong, all amongst each other. You understand? But I'm not about to stand there and point blame like all this other stuff, man. But every time, something like this happens, man, like, listen, the voices are getting louder and louder. It's going to have to be changed. There ain't no civil war and all that other stuff. It's just going to be changed. Because all these ones that screaming, I got my gun and all this going to happen, it ain't going to be us you got to worry about. It's your kids that's growing up in your house. Because they're branching out. What good are your guns if their family about to this on you, bro? It's about to mix and it's about to integrate. So
My shout outs to my family, my wife and my 2 kids. I love them dearly. All my friends. that support me, all the new friends that I've recently made, all the people that disagree with me. It's okay. You have your right to opinion, and I don't dislike you for that. I'm not gonna delete you as a friend if you don't agree with me. We can agree and disagree on both things, but create dialogue. And let's debate. Because we can change certain things together. We don't have to always disagree on things. We don't always have to put in political parties, on either side of the playing field. We can change ourselves. Let me tell you something. You know how proud I know I got like 10 seconds. But you know how proud I feel to be a part of change? To be a part of making history? I mean, if you look at it, how I helped be a part of that historical movement to rename the park, for a better positive. Listen, you can't take that away from me. Like I said, I'm doing this for the legacy of my kids and the future that they will build. At the end of the day, they gotta bury me. They gotta, I want them to bury a good man. I want them to bury your father that they can look up to. So don't be afraid to voice your opinion. Don't be afraid to speak out. Don't be afraid to help somebody. Be yourself. Let's start loving each other. Be united, and let's show that we are united. Again, we are the Freestyle Freaks on HamiltonRadio.net. I'm Ralphie Ryan, also known as DJ Noise. And listen, it's HamiltonRadio.net. And thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to everybody in live around the world. We're out. Peace.